Yeah, look, it's prayer, water, cocoa. You can jump up on it now, you don't need the pogo. Yeah, we diving off, bitch, we about to splash. All up in the deep end, but we ain't up on a boat though. We gon' stir it up some similar to cake batter. Headed to the top, no skipping steps and no ladder. These questions ain't some shit up on the street. Can't just walk around and put the faith inside myself. Got to work, stop the doubt. Trying to change the world, you better change yourself first. Living my life to the fullest, no round trip ticket on that hearse. I'm a star, so I burst. Entrepreneur, I got merch. Put your back against the wall and I can show you what you worth. We go in, we get deep. TLC the way we creep. Need a mop, need a top, cause where we spilling all the tea. This that prayer water, cocoa, keep me right in it weather. On my way to the promised land, can we get that together? Yeah, look, it's prayer water, cocoa. You can jump up on it now, you don't need the photo. Yeah, we diving out, we about to splash. All up in the deep end, but we ain't up on the boat though. We gon' stir it up some similar to cake batter. Come on now, you already know what it is. It's your boy Jalon. Yes, sir. And it's episode 8 of Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter, baby. And we up in this thing like an adolescent with a fake ID. Come on. You know what I'm saying. You know, just on a little green tea. You know, getting the vocals together. You know, I hope everybody out there is doing well. Treating folk the right way. You know, trying to get some money. Trying to get a bag. You know, that's all we doing. You know, just trying to chase a bag. No complaints. Blessed to be here. Thankful. But you know how we do it, man. I don't have a PS5. We don't play no games here on Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter. Let's get into the word.
Let's get into the word. Let's get into the word. Let's get into the word. Fuck what you heard. We give it to you straight. No chaser with no curse. Let's get into the word. Let's get into the word, man.
I got to start out with the home state. I got to start out with Texas, man. Terrible weather. They kind of hit the South. Specifically, it seemed to be kind of like, you know, Texas that was the hardest hit. I was checking in on my parents and family and friends and just kind of talking to people about, and weather being in single digits, you know, talking to my family in Louisiana and stuff like that, same thing going on. And me personally, with me being somebody from Texas, me personally I moved to Texas in like 4th grade, left when I was 18. I can personally recall it snowing one time, like one time, and it wasn't even snow. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even snow. If we're gonna stop the cap, baby, don't you know that's cap? We don't do that. You know, Jaloid, stop. You know, control yourself. But for me, if I'm honest, I really only remember it kind of sleeting, not even like snowing. And I remember they like canceled school, let us out for school. I remember I was playing Foursquare. Your boy, you know, playing Foursquare. I was cold. Foursquare, volleyball, wall ball, tetherball, you know, schoolyard champ. But they canceled school that day. I remember they shut it down. We had to go home. That's the only time in my life that I can ever recall in Texas it's snowing. So the weather that kind of hit was obviously, you know, something that people were not expecting, not prepared for. You know, no snow plows and things like that. You know, this was a once in a generation type storm. You know, knocking out power, flooding people's homes, bursting pipes, leaving millions of people without power. You know, terrible situation. You know, 20 people dead. You know, terrible. People don't want to believe that there's such a thing as global warming or climate change. People don't even want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to talk about it. And lo and behold, y'all already know what time it is. You know who showed up? Your boy, Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz. Oh, they got his ass. They got his ass. Got him. Roped him. They got his ass on SNL too. They was clowning. If you didn't watch SNL, man, you got to watch how they clowned Ted Cruz on SNL. But senator in Texas decided while millions of people were struggling and their houses were being ruined and they were freezing and, you know, burning coal in their house and endangering themselves with possible carbon monoxide poison, your boy Ted Cruz decided this was a good time to take a little vacation. Take a little vacation, go to Cancun. Yeah. Said his daughter and her friends were upset because school was canceled. So 2 days into this situation, that he started sending out texts, him and his wife. Oh yeah, the text came out. The text came out. Yeah, him and his wife started sending texts to, you know, just like that little group chat that they had, friends and neighbors. Hey, listen, this is bumming us out. You know, I'm paraphrasing. But hey, listen, we're trying to take a trip. We're going to Cancun. Seriously. This was in the text. So nobody that they had like actually text had responded favorably. Like, yeah, we'll go. I mean, these motherfuckers, had some sense about themselves. But but your boy Ted Cruz jumped on the plane. Got on his ass. Soon as he was in the sky, the man said after his third Mai Tai, he started thinking differently. Get your dumb ass up out of here. Ted Cruz? This is who people are voting for. See, this is what we talk about these people being politicians. These people don't care about you. We're not going to favor party lines over here. We're not going to favor party lines. We can't do that. It comes in all shades, all colors. Man on a plane to Cancun while people are dying. Your state struggling. You're a senator. But I mean, what do you expect? This is the same guy that allowed former President Donald Trump, that boy DT, to talk about his wife, called his wife ugly. Said the broad was whack. These ain't my words, these are the former presidents. Said she was ugly, and you took that. You took that on the chin. Ow. You can't even defend your wife, so why would I expect you to defend the state that you're supposed to represent, where you're supposed to be a public servant? He wasn't the only one. We can't just talk about Ted. All them politicians was out there showing their ass. Colorado City, Mayor Tom Boyd resigned after going on a Facebook rant. And we did talked about this. Facebook is the devil. It's the devil. I got this one girl that I'm friends with on Facebook. I know more about this girl's relationship than probably the dude that she's been in these relationships with. I mean, she just be telling all her business. He pulled out he was supposed to pay. He said he had an American Express. He pulled out an EBT. I think it was a Kroger card. I didn't get a good look at it. He tried to embarrass me. Okay, my child father don't be acting right. He be acting a fool. I know more about this girl's business than I ever should. Facebook is the devil. People get comfortable. We get on social media and we get comfortable. We say things we regret. So this guy, Tom Boyd, he got on his Facebook. He got on like a Facebook group page and showed his whole ass. This man said, these are his words, not mine, not your boys. These ain't prayer water and cocoa butters. No, sir. The man said he was, quote unquote, sick and tired of people looking for a damn handout and blame the socialist government. The man said no one owes you or your family anything. Nor is it the local government's responsibility during these trying times like this. Sink or swim, it's your choice. The city, the county, the power providers, or nobody else owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. Only the strong survive and the weak will perish. God has given us the tools to support ourselves in times like this. Now, here's the deal. And this is prayer, water, and cocoa butter. But god damn, what are you saying? Like, what are you saying? You are an elected public official, supposed to be a public servant. And this is what you were telling people in a time of need. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. These folk be wilding, but we be campaigning, putting signs in the yard, fighting, throwing rocks at each other, cursing each other out, deleting half your friend list every 4 years. It's ridiculous. This is what they do. So yeah, he resigned, talking about he ain't running for election next year. I bet you not. I bet your dumb ass ain't. I bet your dumb ass ain't running for election. Probably ran his dumb ass out of town. He need to be run out of town. Yeah, Ted Cruz was on his Instagram handing out water. Photo op. Call a spade a spade. That's a photo op. You didn't care about these people. You got called out, and then you decided that you needed to do something. You taking pictures while handing out water at the food bank. Please. Put a hashtag Texas Strong. They should have stoned his ass with a can of pork and beans. Please. Ridiculous. And this is what you got to do. You got to embarrass these people. You got to embarrass them. Because they want to hide behind suits and hide behind the being in council and being in the government, being in Washington, not doing a damn thing. You had every chance. You left. You got on a plane and left. Went to Cancun. Go pull it up. Go read the text messages. Him and his wife. As Donald Trump would have said, sad. Very sad. I was doing a little spiritual healing the other night. As I've told y'all, I'm a supporter of all things educational. Really, you know what I'm saying? If I feel I can learn something, you don't have to be in college. You don't have to be in school to be learning something. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get on Google, you can get on YouTube, you can do whatever it is, study whatever it is, learn whatever you want. You know, like they say, there's no excuse for ignorance. And there's never been, but there's damn sure not at this time. But one of the channels, and I've mentioned it before, that I like to frequent, that I like to go on, it was actually referred to me by one of our guests, Gina Liago. One of the channels that I like to get on is actually called Your Universe. You should check it out on YouTube. But I saw this great video. I've actually watched it a couple of times. And the video is actually called Turn Your Brain into a Creation Machine. The 6 steps on how to do that. And I've watched the video a couple of times. The woman that does the video, the voice, I mean, oh my God. I mean, it's just so soothing. I mean, damn, like, why can't you be a real girl? I don't mean no disrespect. But one of the things that had actually caught my attention, they were talking about this situation, just about your mindset, changing your mindset. And we allow so many things to limit us. And so much of that is just your mindset. We had a great conversation with the guest that we actually talked to on this episode, Shar Wynter. She talked a little bit about that, about your mindset. And it kind of caught my attention because, you know, like I said, man, we always about that bag over here. You know, we always chasing that bag. One of the examples that they actually spoke about in this video was about, what if you needed to earn $1 million a year? What if you were basically like a minimum wage worker and you needed to earn $1 million a year? Like it wasn't a choice. Like, say somebody was like holding your family for ransom. Every year it was the same deal. We'll let you keep your family if you earn $1 million. It's about your mindset. I guarantee you figure out a way. I bet you'd figure out a way. Like, that should have got my attention. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so true. I've allowed myself to be limited. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. I've looked at the obstacles and the things in front of me instead of just pursuing, instead of just believing in myself. You can do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. If you devise a plan, if you believe in yourself, if you're willing to run through a brick wall and you don't allow nobody to tell you no, you don't allow nobody to tell you otherwise, that you can't do it. If somebody was telling you that they were holding your family ransom, holding your dog, your cat, whatever you want to call family, shit, I don't give a damn. Your dog, your cat. You had to earn $1 million every year. I bet you would figure out a way. It's about your mindset. You can do whatever it is you want to do. But powerful, powerful channel, man. So many great videos. Your Universe. I highly encourage you to check it out. I promise you, you'll come away with something. And I actually got to give a big shout out to Comedy Knows Best. They blessed your boy, man. This organization, Comedy Knows Best, I found them online. I was actually recommended to them to apply by a fantastic comedian by the name of Jonay. Jonay the Queen on Instagram. Talented comedian. She had actually recommended and told me to apply. It's this organization that was actually set up by other, successful comedians. I saw people listed like Bill Burr, Howie Mandel, Craig Robinson, just a lot of people. And, I'm leaving out a lot of people, but comedians who decided to put their resources together to try to donate grants to, other comedians, smaller comedians who, were affected by the pandemic like everybody was. And I was blessed to be able to get a $500 grant. And just truly so thankful, because to be perfectly honest, I didn't think I had no chance, no chance of getting that shit. I turned in the application and I think I giggled after I turned in the application. I didn't think I had no chance. And that's the thing, man. You just have to try sometimes. You just have to try. I just put in all the things I've been doing, the shows that have been canceled, the shows that we were doing ahead of time, that Young Comedy Show, sent things in about the podcast and actually got blessed. So I want to thank, I know none of the comedians that donated give a damn or know anything about who I am, but I truly appreciate you, man. And if you're a comedian, I encourage you to apply. You know what I'm saying? You never know. But listen, man, God is good. You know what I'm talking about all the time. Shout out to my people in Houston, Texas, man. I know that weather's warmed up. There's organizations that you can donate to, ABC 13, the Houston Food Bank. They're doing a lot of things. Trade of Truth. A lot of organizations, a lot of people that are giving, and just call somebody up, man. Check in on your people, call somebody up. Shout out to all the people that are helping out there. We love you over here on Prayer Water and Cocoa Butter, baby. You know what I'm talking about, and we with you. You know what I'm saying? 100%. But thank you guys so much, like I said, man, for continuing to talk about the show, support the show. Follow us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, Apple, Google. The podcast host is anchor.fm, anchor.com. You can check in. But you know what it is, baby. We do it for you, man. We got a great show. A great edition of All Up in Your Business, but respectfully. All up in your business, but respectfully. You know how we do. We're with Xpat. I had to look it up. I didn't know what the hell that was before I met our next guest, Shar Wynter. But she is a person, it's an expat. It's a person who does not live in a country where you're typically born. But she is a CEO. She's a boss. She's the owner of her own business. But we're going to let her tell you about that, baby. Prayer, water, and cocoa butter, baby. It go down. Listen, baby, it's prayer, water, and cocoa butter. It go down. Yes, sir. It's another edition of All Up in Your Business, but respectfully. All Up in Your Business, but respectfully. We got a phenomenal guest. Really excited to talk to this young lady. We're over here speaking today to Shar Wynter. Shar is an expat, short for expatriate, which is defined as one who resides in a country other than the one where they actually were born or grew up. She is the CEO of Xpat Incorporated and the creator of the Xpat app, which is a lifestyle and community building app created to enhance the Black expat experience. As well, we ain't done. I know y'all thought we was done. As well as the host of Feet Meets Land, which is her Instagram page, which hosts live interviews, tips and advice, her expat chats, a lot of good stuff going on. Shar Wynter, we appreciate your time. How you doing?
Appreciate you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you again.
Absolutely, man. We so excited to have you. We appreciate your time. We was trying to get all the little setup together. Where are you actually at right now?
Right now, I am in Lisbon, Portugal.
Wow. Okay. And how long have you been out there?
Only 4 months total. I used to live abroad in London for 3 years, and this is my new expat country. So,
okay,
come with me. Come check me out.
Turn out.
Anyone who doesn't know where it's at, it's right by Spain. So, you
okay,
know where it's at. It's neighboring country.
Awesome. Yeah, I was trying to act like I knew what was going on. I'm literally thinking that Portugal's in Latin America over here.
The thing is, I love traveling. So whenever I'm like talking about places, I always try to give a frame of reference for a more popular place sometimes. Because Portugal is actually not that popular, compared to some countries. Yeah.
The only reason why what's his name? Is Cristiano Ronaldo, the soccer player? Do you know? Is he from Portugal? Isn't he from Portugal? Yeah. Hey, listen, I love soccer, so I know about him. Like, that's what I know about Portugal.
Listen, they are
you and him.
Football or whatever, they call it football over here. They are like ride or die about it, though. It's so crazy.
That's why.
Like, I literally had a whole argument with a boyfriend over this football stuff.
Listen, look, I'm serious with it. I'm serious. World Cup, Portugal.
You fit in over here because that's all they like live and die for the football stuff. Well, what we call soccer in the U.S.
Yeah, give me a pint of beer and turn on the soccer game. Jaloid is good. Jaloid is good to go. Listen, I've actually known Shar since our days of meeting in the ATL, Spelman and Morehouse. I was at Morehouse for about 62 days, and Charlotte actually graduated from there. I remember we have a mutual friend, and I'd actually kind of stayed with them for a short period of time, and I just remember Charlotte looking at me sometimes like, "Nigga, you strange. You just."
No, you kept the good laughs until that day you ate my chips, and that's
right, exactly.
I was like, who ate my tortilla chips? I don't know. I think it was some chips, and I'm super petty, right?
Right.
Because I knew I ate them, but I just had to say it out loud. I'm like, who ate my chips?
And of course, me being who I am, y'all already know what time it is on Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter. Of course, I use my diabetes as an excuse. Charlotte didn't want to hear it. Charlotte didn't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I pretty much had to find my own place to stay very shortly thereafter. Char, I know you're actually from Michigan, right?
Yeah, originally from the D.
Originally from the Detroit area.
I moved to Southfield when I was in middle school. So yeah, most people don't know where Southfield's at, but surprisingly, it's a lot of Southfield people in Atlanta.
I know you spoke about your parents being immigrants, Jamaican immigrants, and I looked there's a lot of information about you online, Char. I looked it up, Kingston and all that. Found out about your mama. all that. I was like, she's 5, 6? That's crazy. How did they got that on here?
I know. I hope they go count on the weight part.
Right here. Tell me about your experience kind of growing up, your
Yeah.
upbringing as far as siblings and just your experience kind of growing up in Detroit. What was that like?
So it's funny whenever you talk about being from Detroit or growing up in Detroit, people almost like feel sorry for you a little bit. And I'm like, I had
Mm,
a great childhood. I
okay.
really did. It was just me, my mom, and my sister. I have an older sister. She's 3 years
Okay.
older. But my mom came over here from Jamaica, and she was pregnant with me actually, so I was almost Jamaican.
Wow. Okay.
She had my sister as well already, and my grandma was already over here.
Okay.
And I keep asking, like, how y'all end up in Michigan from Jamaica? Like, how did this
Right.
happen? But it was pretty much, job opportunities, right? That's how most people
Right.
end up in certain
Yeah.
areas. So my dad was already in Florida. My mom came up to Michigan. And my dad, when I was born, came up to Michigan. It was cold, and he was like, "Oh, I'm out." He really never came like
It's
back
a
up. You
wrap.
know what I mean? Yeah, he literally was like, he gonna stay in Miami or whatever. So my mom stayed up in Michigan. They got divorced.
Okay.
And growing up without my dad really didn't bother me for a
Mm.
long time because I didn't know any different.
Were you guys still communicative? Did y'all have a
Yeah, I
relationship
would
or?
see him. Me and my sister would go visit him. Maybe once I turned 10, when we could fly by ourselves. You know what I
Got you.
mean? Like, we used to go visit him down in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad wasn't really involved. I'm
Mm.
not gonna lie. He was very
Mm-hmm.
much so in his own world, just doing his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a deadbeat in the sense of like did nothing at all. But you know what I mean? He
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like a super engaged, involved dad. Like we would visit
Yeah.
him, and then maybe like once a year, and then we would go back home. And it was just
Right.
like a
Right.
very surface level relationship.
That's
Yeah,
a
and so, when we moved to the suburbs, I was so upset with my mother. Because
mm.
I'm too young to understand her trying to give us better opportunities in regards to
Right.
better food. Because
Yeah.
they used to bring it to our house every year and just steal our stuff. With certain things happening that just weren't
Wow.
safe, right?
Mm.
But you got to understand that this is all you know. You don't think it's dangerous. You know what I mean? That's your norm,
Exactly.
right? I had a good childhood. It was just that I think it was
Yeah.
good because the ignorance was bliss. You know what I mean? Like I
Right.
didn't understand
Absolutely.
things that were happening. Like growing up, of course, you were familiar with the fact that okay, we're a little different because our family not
Mm-hmm.
from here. And
Mm-hmm.
then I remember our very first trip to Jamaica.
Mm.
It was such a big eye opener for me. That trip was
Okay.
the one that changed my whole perspective. To go somewhere like my mom's from the country, Pisgah's really small town,
Mm.
and they were living they were so happy, which what I thought was so little. Again, this is little
Wow.
relative to what I'm thinking about what we have in the States or whatever.
Right.
And where I grew up. And my mom would always say growing up, like, you guys are so spoiled, not in a bad way, but it says know how fortunate we are. I didn't realize she was saying that from the perspective of like they just got running water at that point, maybe 25 years prior in electricity. You get what I mean? So when you really
Absolutely.
think about what the
Big
country
difference.
is like, nothing like the tourist areas of Jamaica, whatever.
Right.
So it was an eye opener for me because then it just made me hella curious. Like
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see more of the world because you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like a new way of life and they were happy and they self-sufficient and just living. That's what sparked my curiosity to want to travel and see the world.
Like I said, I actually met you in Atlanta. What
Yeah.
led to you going to Spelman, deciding to go to
Oh,
Spelman? Did you have family that went there? Was this just out of the blue? Obviously, your family members are kind of first generation immigrants, kind of coming over to
yeah.
here. How did you get to Spelman College?
Yeah, so I went on a Black college tour when I
Okay.
was in 10th grade, and it was such a dope tour. I hope they still do it. They
Okay.
take you around to about 10 different historically Black colleges.
Mm.
So, of course, I fell in love with Spelman. So, I'm an
Yeah.
energy person, I've always been. And it was something about Spelman's campus. I was like, oh, I belong here, like clearly.
Right.
and
Right.
the only thing is, that I was nervous about Spelman was really expensive. And I
Yes.
didn't have any, like, my mom, she, was a single parent household.
Right.
She didn't have any money. Pretty much there
Right.
was $0 saved for us for school.
Right.
And so I used to go, people never understood why I went so hard in school was because I had to.
Hmm.
I knew I wanted to get, go to college. I had to go hard because I needed money for school. So when people didn't know why I used to grind so hard at Spelman, I was on scholarship there, right? And
Yeah.
so for me, there was no backup plan to pay for school. And
Come
I
on now.
understood the immense amount of sacrifice my mom had made for us to go to better schools so that I could get into a good college.
Hmm.
And so I just wasn't going to waste it. I used to grind academically because I didn't have any other option in my mind. I did not want to be broke.
How was your other experience as far as the AUC? Because your boy Jaloid, I remember all the things that had nothing to do with books. Okay, I remember the very gracious and supple young ladies outside the chicken spot next to the library. I remember the
Yeah.
basketball games and homecoming. How was your entire experience?
I love, like, Spelman has a special place in my heart because the whole experience is
Mm,
unparalleled. You can't
wow.
explain it. In the sisterhood and just even the brotherhood too, with the brothers at Morehouse and even with the fam over at SCAU, like, it's a whole vibe. It's super
It
hard to
is,
explain.
Shar.
You have to experience it. Those friends I made, we are still friends. Like, no new friends. Like,
Shar, let
that
them
was it.
know.
But
Absolutely.
it's such a dope experience, and it's beyond like
Mm,
just the games and the parties. And
yes.
Atlanta was popping. I mean, I don't know what it's like now because I'm not
Popping.
there. But Atlanta, to me, like, I felt like I was there at a really good time.
That if you have not considered an HBCU, you really
Yeah.
need to consider.
Yeah, and it's an instant connect. Like, even when I moved abroad or whatever, and
Mm.
just immediately tapped into the HBCU community abroad, and it was love.
Wow.
Like, it's a certain level of credibility that you have already. So it's a great network. Like I said, it's a dope experience, and I know, like, not everyone's on the HBCU, like, whole like train, like, HBCUs don't prepare you for the real world. I'm like, they very much
They
do.
absolutely do.
Because guess what? If
They
you can get to the
absolutely do.
financial aid office at
Listen, if you a freshman,
yes,
and you can get through the financial aid office, my nigga, you ready for
you
anything
can
this world has to
navigate
throw at you.
any challenge in
Anything
the
this world.
world financially.
Shout out to all of the HBCUs that
Yeah,
are out there. And listen, I'll
yeah.
tell you what. If you not black and you a smart person and you get along with black people, you might want to check them out too. I
You might
remember when we
want
was there and I was seeing them young Caucasians and them young
to.
Indians
They were
who
having a
knew
good
it, getting them scholarships, getting them minority scholarships because they was white and Indian and Latino. So listen, I'll tell you what. If you don't have a problem with black people and you enjoy the culture, you might want to check out a HBCU as well. With you being the CEO now of your own company, living abroad, when was it that you figured out that, Jaloid, what I'm doing right now isn't working for me? I mean, I'm sure you were probably making some decent money. When
Yeah.
did you
Oh,
figure
yeah.
out that, hey, listen, this isn't really what I want to do for the rest of my life?
About 35 seconds into my job, on the first day, I
Wow.
realized that this was not what I wanted to do.
35 seconds into your job. You knew
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah. So what happened? Let me tell you how I ended up staying there for 10 years. And it
Mm.
was a good company, good pay, great
Yeah.
opportunity. I'm not dogging them at all. I'm just stating,
Mm-hmm.
like, I knew from the beginning, but you have to understand, I came from a space where I needed financial security. That was really important to me based on how I was raised. I had a financial insecurity, because I didn't want to live
Absolutely.
paycheck to paycheck. And
Yes.
I love to travel and I wanted the
Mm-hmm.
means to do it, right? I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
explore the world. That costs money.
Yes, it
So
does.
I found this really good paying job that allowed me to travel, that had great benefits. It had the option to go overseas. I was like, I'm sticking with this job. Got the overseas experience, that put me at like year five to 7/8. I was overseas, come back to the States chasing money again.
Mm.
Because I was getting paid more to do the same exact role in the US. I came back to the States, hated every second of it. Like, packed up all my stuff and moved back home with my mom. That's how much, like, I'd like just to get out of DC and everything. I was like,
Wow.
I'm over all of this. And
Mm.
then I just fell into a very, like,
Hmm.
I was over it. And I
Yeah.
couldn't get myself out of that funk. And I
Yeah.
think what happened was my sense of normalcy had been shifted by living abroad.
Okay.
And what that means is things that I used to tolerate and be able to, like, deal with microaggressions at work and all this other stuff. It was like glaring. I couldn't, you know
Wow.
what I mean? Like, I can, because now when I was abroad, they treated me well. Like, I
Wow.
got treated well at work. I got
Okay.
treated well socially. Just in,
Okay.
like, my relationships, it was great. Dating was great. I
Turn
was
up.
like, and then I come back to the ghetto. I was like, why? Why would I
Right.
do it?
Right.
My
Okay.
experience abroad just really opened up my eyes, and I was like, I don't have to live life the way I've been told or the way I've been living it. There
Come on
is
now.
actually a better life for me abroad. So the real
Mm.
breaking point was when my dad died, right? My
Mm.
dad passed away a year after I got back, and he had been sick for a long time. And it's something
Okay.
about someone passing that is so, it's done, right? They can't, there's no
Right.
can't go back, you can't change anything. And my dad was
Yes.
relatively young. So with his passing, I started to reevaluate in the sense of urgency to quit my job and follow my passion and purpose.
Wow.
It became like I couldn't ignore it anymore.
Wow.
So I started saving really aggressively. And when I say really aggressively, like half of my check, I was just stacking and stacking and stacking it. Because in my mind, I was doing the math. I'm like, if I go abroad to this country, this could last me for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And I just made a goal. I tried everything to make work bearable. I did a sabbatical. I did a 6-month sabbatical.
Tried to see if you could do it. Tried to see if you could do it.
Anything. And so I was so frustrated because I was like, this, you trying to make it work and it's not, So yeah, once I
you were fighting, Shar, you were fighting everything that you had been doing since you was a kid. You was about that stability.
Yes,
you was about that stability.
The financial insecurity that I did not know I had was keeping me at that company because I started to value my health, my passion, value money, things.
Yes.
When you lose a parent, I don't care what your relationship is like with your parent. When you lose a parent, everything changes. There is a piece of you that is gone. You know what I mean? Physically, of course,
You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that person.
Exactly. So I was like, oh, life is short. I was like, I don't have as much time as I think I have.
Shar, let me ask you something with respect to that. My condolences as far as losing a parent. You being able to, you've always been a strong chick. I've always known you as a strong woman. Like when you was damn 20 years old, I knew you as a strong woman. So you've always been a strong chick. Tell me a little bit about that, Shar, as far as like you had said, y'all's relationship, it was amicable, had a relationship, but it wasn't exactly the best relationship, as you mentioned. Tell me about a situation like that when you lose a parent and how you deal with and process and continue to move forward while, as you said, it clearly impacted you.
Oh, yeah. So it was, for me not to have been extremely close to my dad, it impacted me far more than I thought it would in a couple of ways. One was, so first of all, everyone thinks I'm like not everyone, people think I'm super strong, but I'm actually the most sensitive person in my family. So my family probably laugh when they watch stuff like this because they're like, it's hella sensitive. The running joke in our family was, if a fly land on her, she cries. So, in the way that my grieving for my dad's passing kind of showed up was I began to obsess about my own health. So I have an underlying health condition that I did not know at the time. I used to have these fainting spells and dizzy spells. And one of the fainting spells landed me in emergency. And then they started finally like doing all these tests. And I thought I had a brain tumor.
Oh, wow.
And it comes out that I have something called Chiari malformation, which means that your cerebellum hangs too low in your skull. And so it pushes against your spinal cord and it causes a buildup of pressure. So you'll always have like headaches. It messes up your vision. And it causes you to faint sometimes and other things. I mean, but depending on what stage you have, it's so many different levels to it.
How long did you deal with that?
Oh, my whole life. I mean, you did.
Really?
It's that as you get to a certain age, certain symptoms become more prevalent. So for me, it was like I can hear my heartbeat in my ear all the time. Like even right now.
Wow.
I had a million tests done, it felt like, but I didn't know what was wrong. I just knew that something was wrong. Plus I could hear whooshing in my ear that was in tune with my heartbeat. And when my dad died, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I dying? And I started obsessing about my life. So 2018 was like my roughest year, right? I was in a very dark space. Not suicidal, but I think I had a bout of depression that, I was a functioning person with depression. It's like I was going to work, doing everything I needed to do, but I would come home and I would literally like spend the week, because I travel for work. I would spend the weekends and I wouldn't talk to or see humans for like the whole weekend. And I did that repeatedly for a very long time. But it was me grieving, you know what I mean, my dad's loss, and then obsessing about my health. Like I wasn't dating anyone. I just wouldn't do anything social. It was and Sean knows because I actually had a job out. Our mutual friend, I had a job out in Cali at the time. So I would meet up with him for lunch, and thank God for him because he was one of the people I was communicating with. And then we would be at dinner and I would just be crying. And I'm sure it was awkward for him because he but I was grieving, and I
was all coming out.
Yes, finally got a therapist, and that's when things started getting better.
Tell me about that experience, finding the right one, and how you were able to be helped with that situation.
It's so important to get the right therapist, because the last time I had a therapist was in grad school. And in grad school, what had happened is grad school was difficult for me, right? And one thing is, when you're going through trials and tribulations, other stuff start coming up too, right?
Right.
So I was dealing with all these emotions. I was getting a lot of resentment toward my dad. And you have to understand, I had been fine with my dad, even though, because it was all I knew. It was normal for him not to be there, so it didn't bother me. I never lived with my dad and didn't live with him. You know what I mean? So him not being there, or not living with him, growing up with him, all through my childhood was fine, because I didn't know any different.
That's all you knew.
But then when I got to college and I started seeing my relations with their fathers, like their fathers know their birthdays, can go shopping for them, and just what I mean, stuff that fathers are supposed to do.
Absolutely.
So I started having issues in grad school, went to this therapist. You would have thought it was the Friday night at the cinema when I went into her shit. She literally be sitting like this with her legs crossed, like leaning forward, like it was entertaining to her when I would talk.
Wow.
And that's
this was you were a project.
Exactly. And what I didn't like is, like, same way that they kind of sometimes, like, they want us to put on a show for them, and I was like, this is entertaining to you and you're not helping me.
Absolutely.
And she would repeat shit and make it sound way worse. So I'm sitting here telling the therapist a story, and she dead ass repeated it in a way that made it sound worse. Like, so you mean to tell me that your father, knowing that you were overweight, and she repeated it and made the shit sound horrible. And I'm like, I never thought about it that way.
Right.
Thanks. So it was one of the situations where I was like, that was one of our last meetings. I was like, you know what, this is working out. So a good decade passed. And I think the universe just aligned me with this particular therapist. She's super dope.
What made you want to get back into it as far as seeing a therapist?
Sitting on my couch and crying uncontrollably and realizing that I needed help.
Yeah.
I was like, you need help. Like, cause it was like nothing could, and I just couldn't stop crying. And I didn't know why I was crying. And so I literally got on my phone. I was like, I'm going to get a therapist today. Like, I was like, I can't keep doing this. But my whole point is, there's so many, just do the Google search for what your particular need is. Man, she got me through.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm glad you found that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad you found that, because you had to make a decision. You could have just said, I'm never doing therapy again.
Yeah.
I'm never doing therapy again, but you tried to alter. Hey, listen, therapy could help me, but let me try to get to a little bit few more specifications as far as what it is that I need.
Yes.
This isn't entertaining for somebody that is invested in my well-being.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about a few of the different things that you have going on, which is awesome. Your app, you're actually the founder and CEO of your own company. Tell me about how that kind of came about, the time span. I know a lot of this was kind of like the pandemic. Yes. You to kind of think about some different things, as it has for us all. Tell me about how you got started as far as founding your own company in the Xpat app.
So in my mind, I'm like, the goal for me is freedom.
Yes.
Before, it was money.
Yes.
And once I realized that there are certain aspects of freedom that don't require money, or how can I say this? It don't require as much money as I thought I needed. I'm making far less now than I was when I was working at that company, but I am the freest I have ever been. And you cannot pay me to go back. I mean, of course, I've had offers to go back. I'm like, you can't pay me to go back to that lifestyle.
Come on
because
now.
The level of freedom in which, and the liberty in which I can live my life right now, priceless. Being abroad and being able to have my own company, that was not an overnight thing. I already had a ticket booked for Portugal. That was going to be like later on in the year.
Okay.
It's like an ancestral nudge. The ancestors change your ticket.
Oh.
So I changed my ticket, and I get to Portugal on the day the ban is implemented. Wow. Meaning that the day that they're banning Americans. They didn't care that I was flying from London. They're like, Americans ain't like, y'all can't come here.
Period.
Yeah.
We don't want you.
I'm all stressed out. So I'm like, what am I going to do? So I'm standing off to the side. The other Americans are yelling and screaming because, they used to get their way. And they're like, yeah,
you're damn right.
So I don't know if anyone's been following any parts of my journey, but I had cut all my hair off and shaved my head bald.
Okay. Yeah,
So I had a hair wrap on.
photos.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I had a hair
I
wrap
was like,
on.
yeah, Charlene, welcome to the gang. Yeah.
It was so random. I just wanted to freedom. Like I said, freedom was the thing. I was just on this
Come
whole
on now.
freedom,
I love
right?
it.
So I had my hair wrapped up, and the woman who was supervisor, I'm assuming she's Muslim based on her attire and everything. She points to me and another gentleman, and she goes, "Check those two in. They're residents." Now, understand, I was not a resident.
I was
and I
not a
never said
resident.
I was.
Right.
So I run over to the agent who she's telling to check us in, right? And you know the other Americans is fuming, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then I remembered the other person had my passport. So my passport finally comes over to this agent. He's like, he looks at her, he's like, she's American. Mind you, I don't know the guy behind me, okay? I don't know why she were together. So he was cute too though. She's like, check them in, they're residents. And I just looked at her and I'm like, thank you. Like, wow. Seriously. So I get into Portugal. Yeah, for anyone who's interested in living abroad, it's just called an expat for short, for expatriate. Pretty much, I'm interested in Black expats because our experience is unique and different, you know, based on how we're treated or whatever. So I started really focusing on like, what is the Black experience like abroad or whatever I'm living abroad. And I started a series called Expat Chats where I interview Black expats living abroad. Okay. And a couple of repats too, people who have come back already from living abroad. Well, it started off as like a passion project, right? But then, I mean, I started meeting these amazing people all over the world. So anyone who thinks that like Black people aren't living abroad, we are. We're out there. We have a broad footprint.
Come on now.
And
Shar, how were you meeting these people? How were you able to meet these people to do your
tapping into communities online? So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you know, and you find all these amazing, it's inspiring, right? Because it's families, couples, single people, solo females such as myself, living abroad and thriving. But as I started that, the reason I started the company Expat Inc. is because I was like, yo, I'm on to something here. Not that people haven't already been doing this or whatever. There's tons of podcasts and other things that exist. But I'm realizing that like no one has quantified the footprint of the Black expat experience. And I'm a math numbers person, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So in my mind, I was like, A, I want a database. I want to build a database to capture where we are. And B, I want us to have these numbers because there's a power in knowing that information too, right?
Absolutely.
And I was like, let me create a repository because there's all these separate groups. There's Black expats.
Charlene, I don't mean to interrupt. What is a repository?
Like a database. Sorry,
okay.
a database.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to create something where like people pretty much like if you want to move to Brazil, Panama, Portugal, and you Black, I want you to be able to go type in this app.
That's awesome.
Brazil and find all the Black people.
Wow.
You want to know why it's important to be able to find your people? Food, hair, doctors, therapists, lawyers, real estate agents, like all these aspects of your life. It's important to have people understand how, you know, to work with you culturally or whatever. It's been amazing because the Expat app grew out of necessity for me because I was like, I need a way to house all this information, you know? And so I wasn't trying to replace the Facebook groups or replace the Instagram pages or the YouTube channels. I actually wanted to be a central hub where it's like a directory, you know, if people want to find these places, it's like I have a list of all these places and you can find them. And my tagline is literally enhancing the Black expat experience because that's what I'm trying to do.
Indeed.
I want you to have an enhanced experience abroad. You know, I want you to find your community. I want you to have access to resources. I don't want people to move abroad and feel like they're alone, you know?
Shar, with you kind of stepping and delving into a situation where it's, hey, it's about me. I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking care of my health. I'm putting myself first, my dreams, my goals, my aspirations. Is there ever a point in time where you maybe wanted to shut down that feet meets land and hop on that, give Deloitte a call, or you know what I'm saying? Has there ever been a time where you've wanted to like, man, listen, I tried it, I did it?
I haven't had that moment yet, but I think it's because I'm still in the early stages and I still have financial runway.
Yeah.
And that changes everything. So
it
like
does.
I said,
it
I had
does.
a fund I'm very good financially, actually. I'm like, I know how to manage my money really, really well. And plus I'm debt free, so I don't owe nobody any money. And then the app is self-funded. Like I have enough in my business fund that I pay for the development of that app, you know? I mean, and I'm in the early stages. So of course I'm still going through because it's not sustainable to like be self-funded the whole time, right? The app is free for users. I'm like, I had to acknowledge my own gifts. We sleep on our own selves and our own gifts so often.
Wow.
Because that's what society wants us to do most of the time, so they can control.
Be a worker. Be a worker. Right.
And it's like, dude, you have the skills that you need. Like, just put yourself out there and stop being so afraid to bet on yourself when you've been letting total strangers and betting on total strangers your whole life. You know, as you kind of referenced a while ago, like I used to be super private. I would never get on a call. Like, you know what I mean? I would never share my story before. But now I'm like, there's a lot of power in sharing your story because there's somebody out there you could be helping.
Indeed.
You know, just sharing your story. And you don't realize how it's empowering to you to share your story.
Absolutely.
You know, and share the failures too, right? You know, it's
absolutely.
Easy to like,
it's a form of self-therapy.
It is.
It's a form of self-therapy because you're saying it from a powerful place.
Yes.
When you share your story, you control the narrative. It's not somebody else talking about you, Shar.
Exactly.
Shar, you kind of brought it up. I want to bring it up as well. These gentlemen callers, that were for any ladies of color and, you know, people of color, period, who we've talked, this has been a great conversation and I truly appreciate you, but you spoke about, you know, kind of, you know, London, and you've been to over 40 countries. Tell me about your experience as far as being a Black woman and being able to have relationships with, you know, people, and just kind of how you were respected, how you were treated, the reception that you got from men of different countries and stuff like that, for maybe any Black woman that's listening, or, you know, or any woman, period, that, hey, listen, Jaloid, I didn't maybe want to go out there, but I was listening to Shar Wynter. And what was your experience like as far as that aspect?
I have to say, and maybe again, I'm an energy person, so I prefaced it with, you need to look at the energy you're putting out before I say anything else, because I know someone gonna be in the comments like, it was horrible, whatever. So my experience abroad has been far more welcoming than anything else. And this is across, like I said, I've traveled to 6 out of the 7 continents, just not Antarctica, right? And it's been consistently well received. There are some exceptions. Frankfurt, Germany, but there. Yeah, we just went there because it was some super cheap tickets or whatever. But my whole thing is like, some of they want you to believe that you're not going to be treated well abroad. And what I try to explain to people is other countries are far more classist than racist, meaning that American passport comes with some privileges. So the second that they realize you're American, they see dollar signs, they want to treat you well.
Right.
And then you're Black. You know what I mean? So whereas in America, you're always just Black first. You could be the president of the United States, get no respect. You get what I'm trying to say? You can never, there's nothing you can do to escape the racism or whatever. But abroad, if you're American, you are treated better sometimes. I haven't dated in Portugal or whatever yet. But when I'm in London, it's like some guys, it's a lot of Americans in London, but they still get excited. Are you not American? And they get all excited. It's like, mind you, no other time am I like overly proud. I'm like waving the flag, like, yes, we are America.
Look at her, y'all. Look at her.
My country tis And it's like, it's just easy to meet people and be compatible with them abroad. And I also found that my success rate in regards to, like, let's say you go to the club and you meet 3 guys, my success rate of like who was actually a good guy to hang out with was much higher, like success rate than I had in the US.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
In the US, put it this way, I feel like a dude will text you to death. You know, I feel like in London, literally, meet 3 guys, go to the club, meet 3 guys. I've had first dates with all of them by Wednesday. I'm not lying. Like, there's no.
They're serious about their intent.
Like, they're like trying, you know, and I'm like, I can do this, you know.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite place that you've been to, and maybe your least desirable place that you've visited all over this world? Absolutely.
Like, girls trip, I would say Brazil, Rio.
Okay.
Went to New Year's, had the best New Year's of my life.
Turn out.
No, it was amazing. All that stuff. People are like, oh, it's scary down there, it's dangerous. Like, we had an amazing time.
That's what's up. Okay.
Philippines was just really beautiful. One of the most beautiful beaches.
Mm.
There's so many places. Of course, I'm biased towards Jamaica in regards to like food culture all around the experience. And then I was treated with so much respect and welcomed in Belize. Like, yo, they held me down. Get into my least favorite.
You gotta be careful. Right. Okay.
Would definitely be Frankfurt, Germany. It was just way too. So out there, I think they assume if you're a Black female that you're a prostitute. That's another popular thing in certain places where they're just not used to seeing us enough. Right. And so when they do see us, because there are some Black women out there who are, you know what I mean? Like, you know, there's something like, you know, right. But I'm like, the disrespect, like with the club, it was disrespectful. And we just had like a little altercation thing happen. I was like, yo, this place sucks. So I would never go back. Now I heard that Munich and Berlin were dope. So I would love to check those places out.
Maybe a different city.
Absolute no for me.
Shar, let me ask you this. Prayer, water, and cocoa butter, man, that's my thing. That's my deal. You know what I'm saying? I get that from my family, the things that keep me inspired, keep me motivated, keep me going. What is it for you that you would say Shar Wynter has kept you to be able to maintain, to be able to continue to build, stack your money up, gone through some tough things like a debilitating disease that you didn't even know the origin of, losing a parent, losing a loved one, being able to have to deal with the things of unknown, the uncertainty of where you were at. What has allowed you to maintain? What is important that has kept you going on the path that you're on?
I just think like my joy for life and to like exist and understand like being alive is a gift. Like waking up every single morning, whenever I like get down or facing challenges and stuff, I just think about people like my mom, you know, like my mom she figured it out, right? With far less resources and far less support than what I have. So I never feel like there's anything I can't do. And that's only because like I have seen and I know and I've been witness to people making the best out of a life that anyone else would have crumbled under.
Wow.
And that's my mom. Like my mom, if anyone, like I really would love for my mother to tell her story one day. Because if she and her sister as well, if they were to ever tell their story, I think a lot of people would find inspiration just through their journey and their ability to like persevere and just keep going. And not just keep going, but be positive too.
Absolutely.
You know, my mom has every right to be like an angry, bitter, whatever, jaded person. And she's really good. She's the best person I know. Like she's really, I don't even know if they make people like that anymore.
Right.
She's just, at the core.
Sound like your mama went out of style a couple of years ago.
No, seriously, seriously, my mom at the core, she's just such a good person, you know, even when nobody's looking, even when like, you know, people don't deserve her grace and her mercy, she's just a really good person. So that's who I drive a lot of my inspiration from. My dad's name is Tony. I got a little bit of Tony Wynter in me.
a little bit of that boy Tony in you as well. All right.
So, you know, with my mom, though, you know, she's just such a great person. And I think the beauty and like the type of person she is, I don't even think she realizes it. You know?
Yeah.
And those are some
she is.
People. Yeah. Even my best friend, I mean, very similar in the sense of like, and you know, I think you know Shay, right?
Absolutely.
You know, like just really good people. But I do try to surround myself with like really good people because you need that, right?
Absolutely.
And we're here for a limited amount of time, and I just want to make the best out of it.
Shar Wynter, this has been an amazing interview. I truly, no, I'm serious. I'm so thankful for your time.
Chatting with you.
I've enjoyed you, man. I know this is going to help a lot of people. You know, just hopefully open a lot of people's minds as to the outside of America experience, you know, for somebody who's actually been there, you know, for somebody who's actually been there, and not only actually been there, created a society to try to help other people. Shar Wynter, where can people find you? If they want to find you online and stuff like that, where can people find you?
I'm just kidding.
In these Lisbon streets.
I probably would say the best place would be on IG at Feet Meets Land. And then on there, you'll see like the link to the Xpat app. You'll see the link to Xpat chats.
Okay, awesome.
And really, I think even if you're not trying to move abroad, I think you will find the stories to be inspiring in general. Just to change some of your mindset. So I would encourage people to check that out, like Feed Me's Land, and you can see all of the other things. Yeah.
That's dope. And we'll definitely make sure to tag it in the notes and everything like
Okay,
that. So if
perfect.
people are interested, they can definitely get in touch with you. But Shar Wynter, we appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for taking the time to drop in and talk to Prayer Water and Cocoa Butter. We wish you nothing but success, more life, more love, safety, everything out there. You know what I'm saying? But we truly appreciate you.
Yes, I accept all the positive energy. And Jaloy, keep spreading your light, because you are doing the things that people don't want to do. And that's just bringing us joy, sharing knowledge, educating people. I really appreciate you, seriously. And it comes from such a genuine place. So thank you for just being dope as you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Shar.
Look what it do, just telling the truth. Yo, mama getting jiggy, we raising the roof. Do my little dance, get paid in advance. I'm a cheap bastard, but splurging the booth. Look what it do. 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 Look what it do, look baby, who knew? We're like a dog watching dreams come true. Raising at Houston, Cadillacs cruising, South riding red in the North Candy blue. Baby, I'm blessed, no sneeze or high shoe. Been dating a little Asian, roll her haiku. I like them thick, but I'm more concerned if you loyal, cause you need your heart to be true. Not a Boy Scout, but staying prepared, not a piece of meat. Have some respect when you stare. Do what I do, keep everything moving. They want an electric all up in my chair. I'm off the chain with no leash. Top 5, and that's just at least. Could've told, but no, I'll never speak. Groundhog Flow got this bitch on repeat. Look what it do, just telling the truth. Yo, mama getting jiggy, we raising the roof. Do my little dance, get paid in advance. I'm a cheap bastard, but splurging the booth. Look what it do. 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 Look what it do.